Hello bros, I'm Uncle Zero, Profile Production, and next part, Sakura Succubus 6. So let's jump in where we left off. Are we in an, what's those big wheels called with carts? Carousel wheels? I don't know, remember, but it seems like we're in one of those boxes right now. Oh, had such a good time today. Stephanie smiles at me, her green eyes glittering with girlish joy. After wandering around Rosenberg for several hours, enjoying its sights and sampling a lot of food, mostly sweets, Stephanie and I eventually wound up at a large Ferris wheel, located at stone's throw away from the main plaza. By this point, the sun has already set and the sky is strewn with stars. The moon, meanwhile, hovers above the spokes of the giant Ferris wheel like... Okay, it's called Ferris wheel, not carousel wheel. But, well, like crystal ball, white, bright, and enigmatic. Well, I was right, at least that was a Ferris wheel. Stephanie's face is illuminated not only by the moon, but by the assortment of lights inserted into the chassis of the Ferris wheel, which flickers in the dark like fireflies. The gondola we're ushered into is fairly small, and there's not much space for the pair of us. We sit facing one another, packed in tight by knees bumping against Stephanie's. Actually, last time I was in a Ferris wheel with a friend, and the only reason we rode it was actually because that was the only place we could sit down to actually eat a couple of sandwiches we brought, because if we would have eaten at the place we were at, it would have been like a hamburger would have cost like $10. So, and that was just the hamburger. So it's pretty expensive. So we brought a couple of sandwiches instead to eat because it was a full packed day. Fortunately, Stephanie doesn't seem to mind the close proximity. She doesn't look at all bashful, as I fear she might be on her very first date. Stephanie instead seems to have enjoyed all we've done together thus far. That previous remark of hers all but confirmed it, unless she was simply trying to be polite. I doubt even the world's best actors could take a smile as equivalent as the one which is currently playing about her lips, however. Stephanie looks so happy, her face is positively glowing. Thank you, Hiroki, for agreeing to this selfish wish of mine. I'm sure I've been a nuisance dragging you about either so ceaselessly, but you never once complained. You put up with every single one of my whims, and indeed you indulge in them. I am in your debt. Hey, don't worry about it. You're making this day sound totally one-sided, but it wasn't. Not at all. Sure, you might have been a bit enthusiastic while we were walking around, but that's not at all a bad thing. I'm glad you had so much fun. You are? Yeah. Shy, demure girls who hang back letting the guy plan everything out can be sweet in their own way. But it takes a real load off my shoulders when my partner takes some initiative. I wouldn't have liked to dictate everything we did together, not when you were looking forward to this date so much. It's satisfying, I guess, that you trust me enough to tell me what you actually want to do. It makes me feel like I gotten even closer to you. If that doesn't sound too forward. Oh no. I feel like I become closer to you too. I like you the moment I first laid eyes upon you, but I never knew I'd come to like you quite as much as I do. You are very dear to me, and you are so very considerate too. I could say the same about you, Stephanie. As my bachelor and running a hand through my hair say, now that I come to think of it, I've been calling you that all day, huh? Indeed, you have. Why is there a problem with it? Not at all. I took a bit of getting used to after calling you princess for so long, but I like the intimacy. Stephanie is a lot to get my mouth around, though. I'm still not sure if I got the hang of it. Oh yes, I can't imagine there are many people called Stephanie in Japan. It's not a name I've ever come across before, certainly. There were 3 Yunas in my class back when I was in high school and 2 Tamakis, but I can't say there were any Stephanies. I suppose that makes you unique. But maybe it'd be easy if I gave you a nickname. A nickname? Stephanie beams at me expectantly, her eyes shining. Well, if you're technically together with a girl, there usually becomes a nickname involved. I never had a nickname before. What would you like to call me? Well, Steffi is probably maybe that, but it sounds a little guyish. And Fanny, well, that's actually usually associated with the butt. Sissy, it's kind of cute actually. Sissy, isn't that usually when a guy actually is usually smaller and more girlish than normally? And yeah, wifey is for me, but Sissy might actually be cute, even though what is associated with. Because, but I think Steffi is maybe because I think Steffi might actually be best considering every option we have here. Oh, Steffi. Stephanie beams. I like that. You do? Yes. I often thought that my name sounds much too stuffy and formal even if you remove the Sophia Maria Isabella part. My eye just started burning. It feels like it's on fire. Well, not a raging fire, but a small fire. It must have gone away. Steffi is a much cuter alternative. Isn't that what Hazel was calling me? Oh yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it, maybe that's where I picked it up from. I guess I'm not as original as I thought. Technically, I don't remember at all. I know that Hazel had a nickname for Stephanie, but I didn't remember it was Steffi. Well, if Hazel had been calling me that, then you can too. I'm no comes with it. In fact, I welcome our newfound closeness. Same here. I smile touched at Stephanie's joy. We're not just close in the emotion. I accidentally right-clicked and the menu, same menu came up. Well, at least it didn't actually go forward. I don't. Yeah. We just. We are not just close in the emotional sense right now either, but in the physical sense too. When Stephanie shifts, I can feel the hem of her skirt brushing against my pants. This touch isn't quite stimulating as direct skin-on-skin contact, but it's enough to make my heart flutter regardless. Stephanie, I can't help but ponder as I survey her face, is awfully pretty. She is so pretty, in fact, I'm struck with the urge to lean in and... Hiroki? Stephanie's voice, soft and falling feathers, draws my mind away from these lynch's musings. I must thank you again for being so patient with me. I know I must seem hopelessly naive to you, There's a good deal I don't know I have know having lived in the palace all my life, but you have been a wonderful partner. With you, I feel very safe and warm. Still smiling, Stephanie rests a hand upon her chest. And happy too. It's strange, but for some reason my heart won't stop pounding. Perhaps this is selfish of me, but Stephanie begins to squirm, her face flushed. Though we had a wonderful time together, part of me still wants more. I fear this is unfair of me when you have a fiancé who adores you, but Hiroki, please? If it isn't supposed to be a date, then I was wondering to cap off the night whether you would I would what? K k k k k okay. Well, you know, I don't want to ask too much, but Lizzie told me such matters are fairly standard between men and women. She says successful dates often end like this, though of course I know very little on the subject. I've not been on a date before, so perhaps she was teasing me, but if there's any truth to her words, then Sylvia swallows, her slender throat convulsing. I would like it very much if you could. Oh, I can't say it. It's too embarrassing. It's alright, Steffi. Finally taking pity on my cute partner, I reach in and taking my hand in her own, I say, I know what you want, and no, I don't think you're being selfish. I'm more than happy to make your dreams come true. This is your very first date after all, and I want it to be as perfect as possible. Oh, you're okay. Stephanie sighs tremulously, her pale eyelashes falling shut, as very carefully I lean in and overlap my lips with hers. Stephanie sighs against my mouth, and her slender shoulders shaking as I kiss her. Our kiss is a chaste, gentle one, which is only to be expected. This is Stephanie's first, and I don't want to take things too quickly. I don't want to upset her. Her kiss is fleeting things, soft and delicate, but it makes my heart hammer regardless. Stephanie really is adorable. My day with Stephanie concluded, we returned to the palace later that night. The memory of Stephanie lives against mine, hovers at the forefront of my mind throughout the journey back, and later during our opulent dinner. I'm so preoccupied with Stephanie's related musings and the softness of her mouth, that I find myself missing my own mouth numerous times while trying to eat. I drop bits of excellently prepared quail onto the tabletop and onto my thighs, which makes Marina sigh. Goodness me, Hiroki, you're being awfully clumsy. Don't tell me your motor function are beginning to fail you. You aren't that old, though. I suppose that you're oft subject to rather rigorous workouts giving you a love life. Lena smiles seductively. If I'm being too hard on you, you need only tell me. I shall try to ease up in the future, lest I drain you of all your vitality. You've been looking kinda spaced out for a while there, Hiroki. Old buddy, old pal, did something good happen? Don't tell me. Here's a glance over at Stephanie, who, like me, has been making a dog dinner of her. Well, dinner. You two didn't get up to something, did you? What? No, we didn't. I tried to defend my honor, and Stephanie is too little avail. As insinuations have spread about the dinner table like wildfire, and now both Ifumi and Marina are looking at me askance. Something? Ifumi raises an eyebrow. My, I wonder what that could have been. I wonder indeed. Maybe my worrying was for naught. You can't be too wary, Hiroki, despite your many obligation if you have strength enough to seek out further conquest. I'm unsure whether I should be amused or aggravated. Clearly I've not been keeping a tight enough leash on you. Are you gonna put Hiroki on a leash, Maria? Would you walk him like a dog? I might, if he doesn't object to it. What do you think? Would you like to be my puppy? You're certainly going to hit enough with filthy animal. That's not fair. I told my face fire. I didn't do anything wrong. Really now? I know, Scuffs. That's what you say, but you can't fool me. Don't think I've not noticed how steadfast you've been avoiding our dear hostess eyes throughout this meal. Is there something you would like to share with the rest of us? No. I glance away from Marina and my body prickled with sweat. You're reading into it too much. Nothing happened, really. Nothing unless you count a kiss. It's not like I cooped the feel of Stephanie in the Ferris wheel or anything. Though I certainly could have. Okay, playback, which means that does not count as a picture. The memory of Stephanie slips upon mine, assails me once more. She felt incredibly soft and she smelt incredibly good too. Her clothes, she looked more adorable than ever before. Hiroki, left to Hiroki. Hazel rises from her seat, then waves her hand in front of my face. Hey there, Hiroki. Don't tell me you drifted off into La La Land. Oh, leave him be. It's clear from a glance that our poor darling has been afflicted. Afflicted? Hazel draws back, her expression dubious. Should I keep my distance? I don't want to get sick before my tennis tournament. Oh no, I don't believe his disease is catching. It is, however, rather serious. I'm no doctor, but even I can discern that he is quite lovesick. Yeah, I can't possibly focus on eating, not with all the eyes upon me, or not upon me in Stephanie's case. This is unbearable. My skin is prickly and my stupid face won't stop flushing. Maybe Fumi is right. I was only a kid, but since then I've been able to regard Stephanie in the same way. Maybe I really have fallen for her. Curse me and my fondness for pretty women. I'm so predictable. I didn't notice before that the picture disappeared that Ifumi actually had a very mischievous face. Right then. The night eventually falls despite my discomfort, and I retreat to my luxurious bedchamber to relax upon my equally luxurious bed. It's not late enough to sleep just yet, and I haven't taken the liberty of changing into my pajamas. I'm too tired after my day spent in Rosenberg with Stephanie to do anything more strenuous than flipping through my phone. I look through my photo gallery and smile, lost in reminiscences and all the snapshots I took during my date. I took a lot of photos of Stephanie in particular, wearing her casual clothes and enjoying herself. I have photos of Stephanie eagerly tucking into her creep. Stephanie is staring eyes wide at the fairy lights that festooned the streets, and Stephanie is beaming while is sitting in the Ferris wheel. Stephanie looks blissfully happy in every single one of these snapshots, more so than usual. she usually does. Freed from the confines of the palace and the weight of the crown, she looks like an ordinary young woman out on a date. I bet these photos would fetch quite a lot of money if it was unscrupulous enough to sell them. These candid shots of Stephanie would drive up the sales of any magazine or newspaper. I can't imagine the headlines of an unscrupulous paper might publish now. Astoria might be a cold country, but that didn't stop its Princess Stephanie going on a hot date. Read all about it. Just thinking about that makes me feel scummy. If my boss could see this treasure trove on my phone, he'd surely slap me on the back or congratulate me for a job well done. I have no desire, however, to sell any of these photos, no matter how valuable they might be. I didn't agree to go on a date with Stephanie to turn a profit over on it. That really would be boorish. I went out with Stephanie because I thought she might enjoy herself. I wanted to have a good time, and I think my wishes were fulfilled. Again with the playback. Stephanie's smile was so sweet I can still see it when I close my eyes. It's almost as though her radiantly happy face has been tattooed against my eyelids. I can remember too Stephanie's shy confession when we sat together in the Ferris wheel. I remember the scent of her perfume and the warmth of her skin, and the soft gentle pressure of her lips upon mine. Stephanie's kiss, hesitant though it was, made quite the impression. I didn't take a photograph of it, but that would be wholly unnecessary. I don't think I'd be forgetting it in a hurry. I set my phone to one side, seated by all my photographs, then pressed my trembling fingertips to my lips. Though it was a couple of hours since Stephanie brought her mouths together, I can still sense the ghostly imprint of her mouth upon mine. Her kiss was much more hesitant than those of my Succubus girlfriends, not half so experienced as Marina's, nor as demanding as Ayu or Yu's. Stephanie, unlike my Succubus harem, Cosmos excluded, has no prior knowledge of men. Wait. Hazel is is sleeping with everyone she have a chance to, it seems. I know she sleeps with several other people, but is it only women she slept with except me? That was her very first kiss. I feel a bit like I've stolen something from Stephanie, something irreversibly precious. I'm not sure I'm worthy of taking a prince's first kiss, but I feel flattered regardless. That though would be to beckon it upon me. I wonder what Stephanie is doing right now. Is she lying in bed attired in her nightgown, thinking about me just like I'm thinking about her? I turned thoughts of Stephanie over in my head until... Excuse me, Miss Ogasawara. May I come in? A familiar voice on the other side of the door pulls me from my musing, coupled with a familiar rapping of knuckles. I know, of course, who this is. Hifumi, Marina, and Hazel would never address me as Mr. Ogasawara. Yeah. My unexpected visitor can only be the precious process of elimination by Elizabeth. Sure. I sat up on bed and looked to the door. You can come in, I'm not doing anything. The door opens with a click and my approval, and in walks Elizabeth. She looks neat and pristine as per usual, her pale hair shifting about her shoulders. Elizabeth stands by my bedside, then clearing her throat says, If you're not busy, Mr. Ogasawa, would you care to join the princess in her private chambers? Is that what Stephanie wants? Elizabeth nods primely. Her Highness convey me to you thus to express that she would like to spend more time with you. From what I have heard about your date, believe me, she has been most forthcoming with the details. Sounds like the pair of you have much to discuss. Surely you are not content to let your date end where it did. The night is not yet over, and Elsa smiles thinly. There are many acts a couple can indulge in unchaste kisses. The true meaning behind Elizabeth's words isn't lost upon me, and I soon find myself blushing. Is that what Stephanie wants? Well, it is so sheltered, the poor thing. I do not believe she herself fully knows what it is she wants. I have known her for many years, however, and I can guess at her desires. Right now, my lady wants nothing more than to see you again. Would you grant her the honor at the very least? A failure to do so might, I fear, break her poor heart. I would hate for you to reject her now when she has such a desperate need of you, particularly when you have made her so very happy. I think Elizabeth might be laying it on a bit thick there, but I know what she's driving at. My date with Stephanie ended quietly before we had a chance to fully affirm our feelings for one another. I too would like to know how Stephanie feels about all of this, and about the kiss in particular. I was too awkward to barge in Stephanie's in private quarters on my own and ask after her, but if she's extending me an invitation, I might as well take her up on it. Alright then. I reply after only a brief pause. I want to see how Stephanie is too, in fact. I would love to. Please lead the way. I thought you might say that. You really are a gentleman, Mr. Ogasawara. Certainly you are not one to leave a fair maiden hanging. Smiling, Elizabeth bows her head and beckons me over. Now please follow me. Princess is waiting for you, and I know there is much she wishes to share with you. Oh, Hiroki, I'm so happy that you agreed to visit me. Stephanie rises to greet me when I enter her bedchamber, a tremulous smile upon her pretty face. Stephanie is dressed not in the casual attire she wore during our date, or even her fine blue dress, but in her nightgown. I suppose she must have been in the process of preparing for bed when she was struck with the desire to see me again. Was she so enthused she didn't think to change back into her everyday clothes? A thought is flattering one, and I can't help but smile. This, I found myself thinking, is the first time I've been inside Stephanie's bedchamber. Her room is even larger than mine, though that I suppose should be expected given Stephanie's status as a princess. Stephanie's room boasts a large four-poster bed, which looks plush, and a chandelier hangs from the ceiling, illuminating the patterned blue wallpaper. A vanity table stands next to her bed, upon which various perfume bottles and cosmetics are neatly arranged, and there are several potted plants scattered about in ornate vases. Stephanie's room is very tidy, which speaks either of her own organizational skills or Elizabeth's. Knowing Elizabeth, I bet she breaks her back to keep every square inch of this space spotless. Doubtless, Elizabeth would consider even the smallest speck of dust in Stephanie's quarters to be a gross failing on her part. I didn't come here to examine Stephanie's bedroom, though. I'm more interested in Stephanie herself. There's a picture beckoning. Hiroki. Yes? I look at Stephanie curiously. What is it? I was wondering, well, how much of the situation did Lizzie explain to you? She said that you wanted to speak to me again. And she alluded in terms which weren't particularly uncertain that Stephanie might want to do even more than that. I think it's better off not telling Stephanie that, though I don't want to make her feel anxious. But beyond that, did she tell me... But beyond that, she didn't tell me too much. Really, that's a relief. I was afraid she might have given you strange ideas. Would I, my lady? Elizabeth, who is standing in sentinel by the doorway, now speaks up. You ought to know what I wish for, nothing more beyond your happiness. I have no desire whatsoever to make you feel uncomfortable. You asked me to summon Miss Ogasawara hence, and so I did. As a maid, I can do naught but obey you. Yes, thank you. You are very good to me, Lizzie. I'm glad you didn't say too much. Indeed, I did not. Discretion is my middle name. Yeah, right. I am amazed Elizabeth can lie to Stephanie's face like that. Where does she get off being so brazen? I think I would rather tell Hiroki how I feel myself, and yet... Stephanie sighs. My feelings are so very complicated I can hardly know where to start. Perhaps you could begin at the beginning, my lady. That, as I have found, is often the best way to go about such matters. Yes, of course. Forgive me for my interruption. I shall try to calm myself. Stephanie inhales deeply, one hand presses to her chest and looks to me. With wide eyes which seem to shine beneath the light of her chandelier, Stephanie then speaks. I understand that this is an imposition, okay, especially given the lateness of the hour, but I really couldn't wait to see you again. I fear much between us has gone unsaid. Though I have a lovely time with you, I fear it's not enough, which isn't to say, Stephanie hastens to correct herself, that I found your company lacking, or that I'm in a way disappointed with how the day went. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm very happy that we spent so much time together today, and I'm truly blessed you would indulge me so, and yet... My lady, please, you must remember to breathe, else I fear you will hyperventilate. As much as you might like Miss Ogasawara, I do not want you going to pieces for his sake. Elizabeth crosses the room, then rests her palm against Stephanie's slender back. Gently she massages it while Stephanie endeavors to inhale. Stephanie breathes in slowly and deliberately, still shaking. Thank you, Lizzie. I feel somewhat better now, although... What is it? Is something the matter? Oh yes, something is the matter indeed, with my foolish heart. Though you lavished a great deal of attention upon me during our date, and you were unfailingly kind and considerate towards me, I want even more from you time. I must be truly selfish, spoiled girl, but that kiss we shared in the Ferris wheel, magical though it simply wasn't enough. Now we're in the intimate terms here, okay? I want to know you even better. I want you to kiss me anew as you did before, but with even more passion. I wish to know what it feels like to be embraced as a woman. And if possible, I would like it if you could love me too. Ah. I stared Stephanie mutely for a few moments, struck dumb. I wasn't expecting this kind of a request, but I never imagined she sounds so passionate while delivering it. Stephanie is so worked up she is trembling, and it really does look like she might cry. It must have taken her a lot of courage to say all that. The sincerity of her request pierces my breast and pierces. I think it is supposed to be in because the forgotten hour. My breast, and I sang my symphony for her. I hadn't planned to further deepen my relationship with Stephanie, but if that's what she wants, then goodness, just listen to me. Stephanie winces. I was under so desperate, a trait or so I've heard, which isn't all that attractive in women. Why did I not hold my tongue? Please, Rocky, forget all you heard. I like you and I don't want to make things awkward between us. None of this happened. My feelings are... well, they are out of control, but they are important too. Important, I say. Huh? Stephanie blinks abashed and shyly looks at me. What did you just say? I said, approached Stephanie, then take her hands in my own, that your feelings are important, and I'm glad that you share them with me. They aren't a bother. Not in the slightest. Being with you could never be bothersome. You're too cute for that. Do you truly think so? I certainly do. I believe that you are the one of the sweetest girls I ever had the fortune of meeting, Mr. Ogasawara is speaking nothing but the truth. You ought to trust him, particularly if you want your relationship with him to become even more intimate than it already is. Intimate? Oh my. Stephanie flusters. This all seems to be happening so quickly. Am I being too forward? Would you rather I leave? No. Stephanie retorts quicker than I had expected. Her eyes boring fiercely into my own. I am shy, that much I cannot deny, and my heart will not stop pounding yet. Being with you like this makes me feel very happy. I was lying when I said that. I wasn't lying when I said that I want. Ah, damn it! I accidentally pressed. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to know you even better, Hiroki. I would endure any unpleasantness for your sake, if only to bind myself to you more fully. Well, thanks. I'm glad to hear it, but you needn't worry about that. This won't be unpleasant. I think I'm experienced enough to show you a good time. Now come here. I wandered around Stephanie's back, my fingers played against her shoulder blades. Don't be afraid. We can take this nice and slow, just like this. So say and lean in. Alright, that's the next picture. I really hope those YouTube doesn't get on my ass because these pictures do seem to get a little bit more daring. But that was all I have for Sakura Succubus 6 this time. As a headline shot. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.